Hi, everybody. Welcome to another game of Ironclaw, the Isles. We're shortening the titles because we're getting longer and longer, so we're not going to.
Yeah, we have Ironclaw, the Isles, the King's Chosen, Jedi Knight 2 here,
sort of thing. So, welcome. Last time we had a major fight, gunfight and melee in the castle, within the castle, the Summer Palace of the Southern King. And the party managed to fight their way off, which basically meant that Harmon mostly fought everyone off. But he was injured, as well other members of the party. And they retreated to Lord Baron Montague's castle, further north, to recuperate. The status as it is right now is that you have a large army occupying most of the island, with several pockets which are still resisting. Check and make sure that you guys are in the proper.
Yeah, so it's very much a basic invasion. Everyone pulls back to the castle. We go, you can't get us in the castle, you better just go away. And now it's the time where they go, well, we have enough equipment and supplies here to siege you.
Yes. Yeah. The siege continued for a couple of days because they never got a signal to not continue the siege. But eventually, when they broke in, they found it mostly empty. With the prince gone, there was no reason to fight. In fact, the guards that were left back really were fighting a delaying action to buy you time, which they did. Not everybody was with the captain, apparently. Him and a small group of men. In the process, also put some prisoners. They basically expressed the reason why they took that chance of essentially committing treason was that the captain promised them that if they could turn the prince over, essentially the war in this particular island will be over, right? And the depredations of the army, etc., will be over. Only leave perhaps a garrison force, and that it would have been dead. And since the people here, especially the families of the guards, have been suffering from lost crops and bad weather for the last 3 years or so, on top of the fact that they're going to have a war on their hands, was not something that some of them were willing to deal with, including apparently the captain. That's what they say the captain told them. How true is that for the captain himself? You don't know, because he managed to escape. Although he didn't tell the attackers outside that the prince was escaping, apparently. So there's that curiosity as well. So there's that. And we should be back on the green screen. Everybody should be seeing the
nice calming meadows.
Yeah, nice calming meadows of the Isles. Just have to reload this. As you're recuperating, let's read the rule. Let's do a little rule reading for just so that people know where we are at.
Good idea.
For an army, injured combatants must meet their healing quota. A character who is injured must score 24 points of healing. You cannot heal injured if you're sick. Each respite that is 6 hours of sleep, not during natural cycle, is 1 point. Each treatment from a character with a gift of doctor is at least 1 point. The doctor rolls the mind and academics. Each die that comes 4 or better earns 1 point of healing quota. Many doctors will take their rote. See page 112. Eating proper food or sleeping in a nice bed can add 1 point to the quota. See the equipment chapter for more details. Once all 24 points are met, the character is cured. An injured character who gets proper food, bed rest, and medical care will completely heal after 24 days.
Right. So to recap that, every day you get 1 point back. Every day you rest, you get 1 point back. Every day you get proper food, you get 1 point back. And medical care is at least 1 point back per day. You can get it back in as little as 8 days if you're willing to pay all that money and get luxury. You can't heal injured until you heal sick.
I just want to clarify real quick. I was saying I was sick before. I'm not sick. I went from dying to fine. So I never went too sick.
Yeah, there's a random chance if you go down, there's a random chance you'll come back as sick.
Well, no, I mean, because
you're luckier. Spencer isn't because they tapped the their combat.
I
scene.
mean, I
Right,
went
but I think
to
Spencer-
dying, and then Spencer enraged me, which negated the entire process.
Which is
Too angry to be
hilarious. I
sick.
love it.
So I'm just on the injured track. I'm not on the
Yeah.
sick track like I was
Right.
saying before I was mistaken.
Yeah.
Right.
So in fortunate circumstances, we do have the barber, so we have the healing. We are in a castle with supplies, so we might have the food, and you do have basic rest. So
Didn't somebody else
8
get hit
days.
with sick? Didn't Spencer get hit with sick?
Spencer
Yeah.
got hit with sick, yeah.
Yeah, Spencer has sick, so Spencer would take twice as long to heal.
yeah, so we're just shoving Spencer into a bed. And I'm going, no, literally just stay in bed.
And Raphael,
And if they come in, use a Bowie knife.
Yeah, if you keep him out of play for a week and a day, he'll be fine.
basically there are doctors here because your Baron Montague does have his own personal doctor, and they offered the doctor for Harmon and for Spencer as well.
Yeah, and my barber surgeon's probably up to that too, so everything's good.
Yeah, so you're there, and the more you hear about it is skirmishes at the edges, right? They some skirmishing parties come to harass the fortifications, try to stop the outer wall from being built because that would make things harder. It kind of protects the castle because you have to besiege it from a longer range. So that means you need bigger pieces if you're going to use artillery. It also keeps the people relatively safe in town without having them to be crammed into the castle itself.
Yeah.
But it's also a wooden palisade, so it wouldn't really last very long under siege. But it helps.
Do we actually have like numbers for like the amount of troops Montague has compared to the King Edward's army here?
Let me put it in this way. Montague has, at best, several companies. The army has regiments, which is a full invasion force. I mean,
Yes.
their main target was to capture the prince, but they came to occupy the island and whatever resources they can scavenge it.
Orders of magnitude is the term here, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is not the problem that the island doesn't have enough forces; is that they're scattered.
Mhm.
Right? And coordinating between all the forces, especially with a weak leadership, it'd be difficult. Right?
Oh, are we skipping over the intros this week?
Oh, sorry about that. I got into it.
Yeah, I was
No,
thinking
we
of
are not.
reminding about that, but we just we're going over basics, I think.
Yeah, we're going over
Right.
basics. Yeah, establishing this in. But let's now that we're here and now the healing has begun, let's go to the intros. We need everybody to introduce their character and their motto. Goals. So let's start with Griffin.
Hey, I am playing Sir Gregory Varkin III. I am a lion elementalist, and my personality is vain. My motto is I am fit to be the king.
Fado.
I am Harmon Todero, donkey's mule, soldier. Personality is stoic. Motto is you need to know that you're in for the fight of your life. I have the goals of discover who is behind the conspiracy and save the heir regent.
And next, of course, we have Duncan.
Hello. My name is Rob, normally, but I'm playing Duncan today. I am a Panther burglar, and my motto is charity begins at home. Current goals are the same as the rest of the party at the moment. Uncover the major conspiracy and save the heir from the Southern Isles.
Okay. And Rafferty, last but not least, Rafferty.
Hello, world. I'm Norman Rafferty, and today I'm playing Brother Vesper, a raccoon almoner, where I keep my faith alight, but I keep my powder dry.
Still on you for a moment. Have you joined Roll20? I don't see your token.
Oh yeah, I'm coming in.
Okay, just checking. So yeah, so that's the situation as it is. You think you have still a window opportunity, at least get Harmon back up to his feet. It may take a little longer for Spencer, whose player is not joining us because he's also feeling sick in the real
To
world.
clarify, I am still on my feet.
Yes. Well, to be fully healed and
Right, no, at the stage I'm at, I will just take additional damage when I'm hurt. If Spencer was around with us right now, and not real world sick as he is, If he was getting hit, he would actually be knocked down if he was getting hit. So
Yeah. Injured is just you take more damage. Sick is you actually fall down repeatedly during a fight. So Spencer definitely needs to get laid up.
Harmon will power through.
So you're mostly waiting for Spencer, but also Harmon will take a soft bet for now anyway, and the attending of the doctors.
You think you will?
See if anything pops up. We got time here. We're waiting on the siege to lift. I think basically.
Well, no.
I don't-
Right now you have
I
a
was gonna
window to continue escaping because there's skirmishes. If you wait for the siege to start, your local siege, if they decide to go after your castle, that's going to be a problem because you're going to be basically in a similar situation you were before, except now instead of coming from the outside in, you have to be in. You're in and want to go and leave. So
Right.
Yeah.
So we gotta book it as quickly as we can then.
mhm.
So I guess I just have to arrange that with Baron Montague then, see what he knows about the roads there, the skirmishes that are happening, and see when's the best opportunity for us to try to get out of here with the prince.
He says he can spare about a squad or a platoon worth of troops, 10 to 20 men, to escort you. Try to move overland, double time it. But your man Spencer will have to be carried in a stretcher. Otherwise, the fast pace at overland is going to fatigue them and probably make things worse.
Right, so the surgeon and the spare soldier that I still have will probably handle that, and I will just literally hold a pavis in my hands the entire way.
Also, get a chance to repair your pavis because the one that was before was
It's fine, Hole's build character.
yeah.
You can see like the
Just gonna,
patches
like-
they put on it.
Yeah, you're just gonna wipe off the remains and just put it on another guy. I forget, was he killed or overkilled?
No, he was just
Almost
straight up
overkilled.
killing.
Yeah, he was
Almost.
close.
Regular killing. So
Yeah.
okay, it's not. So it's just
This is
got a
all
big
plastered all over the
continuous
inside.
hole in it.
Wouldn't have even touched it then.
So you take the road. Meanwhile, Rafferty, you are, as you're still part of King's Chosen, you brought into the barracks to debrief the Lady Chamberlain on what you know. You sent up the letter.
Yeah, I
She
mailed the letter and I say we need to send more aid right now. They've already landed and are rampaging through the countryside. These people as subjects are suffering and they need liberation immediately.
Yes, they're preparing the troops to do that. But she says there's a matter of food supplies. I need you to rendezvous whenever possible with your magister, because I have a plan for them. And she hands you basically a chief of papers and documents. Says, go to the armory. They will equip you with certain trinkets that you're going to need.
Thank you for the confidence in my office, but I have to eschew weaponry. I'm a pacifist.
I guess I get someone to carry them for you until such time as.
Oh yeah, other people can carry weapons all they want. That's, but not me.
Yeah, basically, they basically you see another soldier carries up bags of like round metal actually clay shapes with little felt tips coming out of them, about yay size. They look like grenades,
Oh yeah, that's what those would be.
and there are about half a dozen of them. It says these particular grenades, explains the soldier, are, although you yourself will not be using them, but you should explain it to people you're dealing with, are of an incendiary kind. And the paperwork that you have is for the targets that will be set alight.
We only have 6 of these? We're fighting a war.
You are not going to take on an entire army, sir.
Ooh.
This is more precise work.
And
And you look
I
at
only have this one irregular in my employ, and I'm not even convinced he's a real soldier.
Oh. And the man just raises
Two foxes. They do the sailing for you.
Yeah, they're sailors, not soldiers.
Well, that's why you have to rendezvous. We'll have you rendezvous with Lord Griffin in order to.
So it's
Lord
myself, these two, and this box of incendiary explosives.
Yes. And you will handle the plans and the information, and hopefully this will solve, at least for the time being, killed two beasts with one stone.
Well, I suppose we'll make all haste. Are you going to give us a fast vessel, a war vessel, or fast war vessel? Because we have a stolen fishing boat.
The fishing boat will not be necessary. You'll be going out with the first wave of reinforcements.
Ah, excellent. All right. Well, I'm ready to leave at a moment's notice. I am eager to go where people are in need.
Yeah, and you go down south to that. As you're preparing to leave, Gregory, there's a messenger that managed to go through and saying that their reinforcement, at least the first wave of reinforcements, are approaching, and you're also told to rendezvous on a small island just off the coast. Basically
Wonderful.
Basically a piece of rock that just jets out of the Emerald Sea.
Yeah, so I can get this message while we're making our plans and go, perfect. So once we get to the boat, we'll just go to the rock and we'll wait to rendezvous. Everything will work out great.
And you do so. Again, the local forces are able to cover your essentially retreat. You go to the cove where you left your ship, and you manage to get there. The remaining foxes are a bit peckish because the supplies have been running out.
Sorry to have left you alone so long, but things got a little complicated.
Yes, it's like, well, yes, sir. We're ready to sail as you might. In fact, they probably started fishing, so you see some fresh fish on the deck, and the remnants of it, which have been throwing off the side. Not the preferred fox diet, but a fox gotta eat.
It works.
Yeah. And so you sail off, and you basically reach this lonely island, which is basically called the Finger, as it looks like a giant sort of finger racing out of the water. This line tore, and around it, it's there are several ships, warships, transports, that sort of thing. And you're asked to rendezvous with the flagship, the White Thorn, and up you go. And there you meet Brother Vesper and the other two sailors, and basically you're given a box of explosives, and I believe Brother Vesper has some paperwork for you as well.
Yes, we've given you magic, the best kind.
Yes.
Vesper, I'm so glad to see you're safe. I was so confused with the message. Last I heard, you said that you were going to stay in town and try to give hope to the people, but the message said that you took a small boat all the way back to Kertolin?
The people needed a greater help than we could provide. Observe. Help.
And I suppose here it is, in grenade form. This will bring lots of people hope very quickly and in small radiuses.
Let it not be said. Not the practical proselytizer.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the letter.
Yes, it takes me some time to come here. I would have reviewed these letters that we're going to ask you to sign, because they didn't seal them in wax. The fools.
It basically has a number of figures, as in numbers, as in of a port in the Eastern Isle, which is occupied by the younger king, now in rebellion. And it says that they are building a new type of warship, and they need to put a stop to this.
My God.
And also is because this is a major important port that feeds into the trade with with Triskelion, and that's also where they hope they have a lot of their grain supplies and other food stuff that are bringing in to maintain the war effort, which allows them to move so fast because they don't have to dip too much into their own stores. So,
Right.
if it were possible, the main target is to destroy the ship before it gets constructed. But also, if you find a way to liberate some of this grain and some of this food, it would be a double blow to the enemy, and would also help defeat the people, because it is up, and it eventually mentions brother Rafferty. It will be up to brother Rafferty to distribute this food to wherever it's needed the most.
Well, of course, according to need. Speaking also according to need, I can't help but notice that Harmon is refusing to admit that he's injured.
Oh, he's recovered.
I fully admit that I'm injured.
Oh, okay.
I fully also admit that I refuse to stand down from my duties.
Well, would you drop to your knees and pray with me?
No.
No? Okay, I can't heal you if you don't pray.
Harmon.
No, I mean, after we had this discussion, I don't know, 2 episodes ago about druidism versus, I don't know what your type represents. Yeah, that we have differing points of view on the religious world. I was raised a certain way, and I'm not going to give that up just to heal myself.
He's not going to submit, then that is his choice. It is admirable that he has so much zealousness, however misplaced it may be.
I have world experience.
And also, you see that poor Spencer is very much awake, but it's in a stretcher.
Well, Spencer I could help, because Spencer is already converted to my faith.
Yeah.
Plus, he can't object right now.
All right.
No, you have to accept. That's the trick.
Yeah.
You can't. I can't heal you against your will.
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, I have given him the wealth that was given to me for winning the tournament to help him do worldly good deeds. I will not submit, though, to his rhetoric of otherworldliness.
Yeah, it's specifically that welcome to Ironclaw, where all the higher healing spells require you to accept my religion. It's the same thing over there with the druids. It's a great game. I love it.
So,
It's very complicated later, isn't it?
So lessons. Quick question about just to clarify. So there's several different boats involved. The new warship being constructed, and then the grain is on other ships.
Well, the grain is being stored for at the port. The port is also a shipwright. It's a place where they build ships and maintain them.
Okay, so it's not known to be actively on a boat. It's just stored at the port. Okay, makes
I
perfect
mean,
sense.
they're bringing. It's just constant shipping. They don't just bring one load and that's it, because it it would not. And so, okay, so we've been hit by spam here, and and so the idea is that you can find a way to both set the ship on fire before it gets built, and also liberate some of the grain, particularly the grain, for the omnivores and vegetarians, which are suffering the most because of the crop failures. It would be advantageous. You do know, and there's a note. Oh, kitty, that grain in the grain silo can also be explosive.
Yup.
So there's a note saying that if you cannot carry off, this one is on the wax seal. This one is particular for you, in a small cylinder. If you feel like you cannot carry enough of it, or time is pressing, then perhaps it's better for none to have it than for the enemy to have it.
Right. And of course, being a fire mage or elementalist, I can just start a fire at any time I want, and that will be enough.
Yes.
Because grain is like that.
These grenades are incendiaries, so they will not. They're not like fragmentation grenades. And because the ship, as is described, you basically see a rough sketch of the ship. It's and they're basically building a ship, so they also have the cannons nearby and all the things that are needed. If you can burn the ship down before it gets completely constructed and gets loaded with powder and the like, and set sail, the much the better, right? I mean, probably even if you don't destroy the whole thing, you could damage and delay the construction by weeks, if not a month or more.
Is there intel on the ship to know what makes it different from every other design?
Two things. It has a new keel, and it's much larger, and it has square sails, a new set of square sails, which makes it far more maneuverable than many of the ships that are used here. I mean, square sails are coming in vogue, but these are new square sails that allow for for this massive ship to be maneuvered. It probably have like 2 gun lines, up to 30 guns. It'll outgun any ship out there on a 1-to-1, and it'll be a powerful addition to the enemy.
How many guns is she?
Total of 60 guns
versus 30. What's the normal?
The largest ship right now is packing about 20 guns. About 1 gun line worth of guns. This is basically multiple stacks of guns.
Oh, so you're talking multi-deck gun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one of those big, intimidating modern galleys versus our just basic or more basic ships.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but I mean, that didn't work for the Spanish. I don't think it's gonna.
Well,
it did for 200 years first.
Yeah, until someone decided, hey, let's just throw all the small ships at them, and it worked.
Right, so it's not like one ship is going to change all the odds itself, but it will probably take out several ships before an engagement fully happens anyway, which is the scary part of it.
I mean, I was worried we were pulling out a Monitor or a Merrimack, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like an armored ship?
Oh, yeah, God. Like putting a metal plate over the wood.
We're at that point in time. We're already doomed,
Yeah.
Don't give lessons ideas.
Yeah, fortunately we're not. So,
well, I mean, that's heavily out of date for the period. I'm just saying that I was thinking, that was my first thought. It was like, oh no, it's their secret ship. Where they put metal.
Also, if they can make one, they can replicate it. So, and if this becomes the standard for their fleet, yeah.
I mean, literally nothing stops them from doing it right now, other than the fact that historically nobody thought of doing it right now.
I have a question.
Oh, and they're expensive here.
And maybe I could ask, like the note or anybody or GM, I guess, is there plans, blueprints for this ship out there?
They have rough sketches of how it's being built. So you have basically like an overview. So no definite plans. But they do suggest certain areas where you can plant your not explosives, but your fire pots.
It'd be real funny if we just, sailed into the harbor with our ship on fire and left the
just
explosives.
Just a full reversal on them, yeah.
Yeah, left our explosives in the ship and just, let it go.
The thing is that this particular ship is not in the water. It's well constructed. I mean, you could damage.
It's dry docking, yeah.
Yeah, it's a dry dock. It's near the water, but it's not in the water. You could damage the dry dock area with a big explosion. That'll also. It's an alternative.
Yeah, we bail off the ship somewhere far beyond the shore, swim up to the shore, do a two-pronged attack with the ship exploding being the distraction.
Yeah.
Well, to clarify, you said these are... Oh, I'm sorry, I wanted to ask, you said these are incendiaries, so I'm assuming that they're tar and oil. They're not actually like gunpowder and explosive.
There always has a little bit of gunpowder in the mix. Right.
Well, I figured our ship has gunpowder in it, so that the incendiaries would set off the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
but they're not designed. They're not metal casing or that would be made for more fragmentation and type effects, right? Because clay.
At this time period, a fragmentation grenade would be a clay pot, but instead of filling it with oil and tar, you'd fill it with gunpowder and nails and garbage.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be the thing that just fragments. It won't be until the 19th century what we actually call shrapnel.
Yeah, if you look, the heraldic device in the Bisclave shield is a grenade.
Because they're the most advanced people in Calabria.
Yep. So I think on mission particulars, we know what we have to do, and it seems very straightforward so far until we get our eyes on it. And I think I have to ask Duncan, how's your throwing arm?
Terrible.
I thought so. Do you have a sling?
No.
Do the crew that we've all met happen to have a single sling among them that we can requisition for our mission?
They have swords.
I mean, I have a sling.
Didn't think so.
They have a pistol. The captain has a pistol.
Well, slings are something that's pretty easy to make.
Yeah.
I mean, I use a sling staff. That's my primary ranged weapon.
Right, and I know I can trust Harmon with it, which is why you were going to end up getting a lion's share, and I was thinking the split would be 2-1-2.
Yeah, we could just press our men into service for making slings. They're cheap items, so in the crafting rules, they're really easy to make.
I think the math of it was like it doesn't even take like a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could probably just have my
multiples of
foxes
them in a
do it
day.
if that sounds acceptable.
Yeah. I mean, are you trying to just lob these things at a distance?
At least from a further distance. I want to make use of Duncan's ranged weaponry on this because that's what he's good at.
Yeah, in the Ironclaw rules, you can load grenades into slings, so
It'll give them a slight bit more distance.
It's either two-handed to fire them, or someone else has to light it before you throw it. Or you can fall upon one of our favorite tricks, which is to throw an unlit grenade and be next to a wizard.
All right, so what I'm going to do is, so we have 5 grenades.
6.
6 grenades. So Harmon, I'm going to give you 2 grenades. I'm going to go ahead and take 2 grenades. And you as well, you will get 2 grenades, Duncan.
I do appreciate you keep calling it the lion's share, and you are a lion.
As it should be, the lions get the biggest share. This is true in all reality.
For clarification for just the stats on the grenades, it's body throwing, or in this case, body range. Because I'm using the sling, and it damages what now with the incendiary part?
It's fire. It's plus 2 deadly.
Plus 2. Okay.
It's at
I'm just writing it down so I have it for later.
Yeah. Is that plus 2 on fire? I don't have the book open.
Plus 2 on fire. Yeah.
All right.
This is particularly a thick mixture of tar, a little bit of gunpowder to give it that cess, and some other stuff that they have in there that you have no idea.
So damage plus 2 fire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. There we go. Additionally, if you guys think it wisest, I could simply use my magic to try to ignite fires, and I could give each of you an additional grenade. However, that means that the grenades will go out slower.
The thing about it is, and I think people tend to misunderstand, wooden chips, they just go on fire just by lighting them up.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have additional things to it, but I still have a chance almost equal to these grenades. So there's a possibility.
They give you a chance at the grenades because, well, yes, wood will catch on fire eventually. We're talking about thick planks. That also, one of the things that's weird is they tend to absorb quite a bit of the humidity in the environment, so they're hard to set alight.
Wouldn't the sails be the more flammable objects?
Yeah,
but the ship is still
the ship is on dry dock, so I will go ahead and keep 2 grenades.
And while the sails are also more flammable, they also get wet. It's not impossible. It just takes some work.
Well, I mean, if it's on dry dock, then it's probably going to be surrounded by flammable material.
Yeah, no, that's. I think the flaming pitch in these incendiaries is going to be the great equalizer here.
I mean, it's also being worked on. It's probably going to be they're still going to be coating it with that material to seal up all the boards and everything, which is, I think, itself flammable. I could be wrong.
Yes, and also there's like places where people are heating up nails and other kind of stuff. And you're also told that they're working around 24/7 basically to get the ship ready. So there'll be torches and lamp oil. There are ways. The ways is that the trick is to get close enough to be able to do significant damage to either delay or destroy the ship.
Right,
remember-
and my magic isn't necessarily any longer range than these slings are.
Yeah, and remember, it's also Ironclaw, so they split everybody into day shifts and night shifts because some are nocturnal and some are diurnal.
But it does seem like, at least on the surface of it, that a night attack would be the best time for us to attempt this.
Time to paint our ship in a sea blue so they don't see us.
So we do have our orders here and instructions. Does it have a recommendation for where we should try to land or an approach, or is that entirely up to us?
That's not up to you. For experience, those who haven't sold off sailing as a profession, know that these islands have a lot of coves, that's caves, and small beaches, right? They don't tend to have those sort of large sweeping beaches that you find in the Caribbean, for example. But it's not unusual to find like a small cove or a rocky beach somewhere. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why smuggling and raiding and piracy has always been a problem here, because you stamp out or clamp down on one place and there's like half a dozen up and down the coast.
Yeah, there's another place someone else is hiding.
Are we all sailing the same flags, or?
I suppose you are.
Yeah, I mean, like, is the usurper still under the same flag? Yeah, he's on a different flag. But any ships we encounter on his side, are they? What are they?
On the seas, they're basically flying his flag. On land, because again, still basically a late stage feudal system that was employed, there'll be primary and secondary flags, right? Local barons and others will have their own flags. Notable knights, for example, may have a flag of their own.
And I'm assuming none of us have heraldry.
No.
I do.
Yes.
I'm thinking maybe if we can fake the usurper's flag, sail in under what would appear to be their own flag, and they might not suspect us until the final moments.
That's not a bad idea, but it does risk our boat more.
Well, yeah, but the boat doesn't matter.
So we still have to sail there, and I think we still want to find a cove to wait in, and we still want to get eyes on it. So we can work on that plan if we want and see if it's a possibility. And first and foremost, get eyes onto it. So I think, like last time, getting onto the island we're on now, or we're on, we're doing some more sailing.
Well, I was suggesting it as a way to get close enough to see things without being instantly suspected, because if we're flying their colors, essentially, we should be, I guess, not above reproach, but at least, benefit of the doubt. I don't know.
Well, considering since the usurper doesn't have any unifying theme to their vessels, if we flew a false flag, but by the time we got to port, they would ask us who we were. And that's when we would have to let fly because we don't have any passcodes or anything.
Yeah, and my best assumption would be that this dry dock probably has some boats of their own specifically to protect them, and we probably wouldn't be allowed to get close enough. Though such a flag would probably let us talk to them first.
Right, yeah, it would give us the ability to sail past and at least see it.
Yeah.
There's also a consideration you have to do about flags. And this goes not only heraldry, but also laws of admiralty. And that is, essentially, you're kind of obligated to fly, when you go into combat, the right flag. Because to do so, to engage in combat under the wrong flag means that you're a pirate, a sea raider, and if you're captured, you will be treated as such.
Right, and I very much like the idea of being ransomed back in good health as opposed to being executed on the spot.
I mean, we're enemy combatants already. I don't really care.
Right, and I'm worth a lot of money. And I'm worth less money the fewer of you I have.
And the usurper has already shown that he's willing to resort to almost any means necessary to combat. Yeah. He's hardly an honorable foe.
But I'm just saying that Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm
Well,
just
no,
saying
you
that those we keep running at each other. Yeah.
Sorry, you
I'm
go.
just saying,
I'll shut up now.
yeah. Those are the rules, right? And at least you don't want to give your enemies. I mean, you can still try to do the ruse. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. They're just saying I don't want to say, oh, by the way, yeah, this happened, and you all hang up, string up because I said so.
Right,
Like,
we are aware of the consequences
Yeah,
of
no.
doing such rules.
You're saying this is a dishonorable act and you'll be treated as such, and I'm thinking, well, Harmon is a chivalrous soldier, but at the same time, this is war.
Yeah, it's the Ractus perspective. You want to win, and I feel you.
Yeah, well, not even the Ractus perspective. I think this is a war, and we're fighting for the king.
Okay. Well, I think we still have to do first things first, which is get to the cove. So let's go ahead and handle that part first. How did we do last time?
Roll sail. First of all, roll your sailing.
I'm
Yes.
going to assume mind and sailing.
Mhm.
1d6 plus, and I think I had people helping me last time.
Yeah.
I will attempt to help.
The captain.
1d6 plus 12. So I got 3 dice already. This is pretty nice.
You got one from me.
That's an extra d8. Harmon is also assisting, and so
you got
course.
another D8 from the captain. Yeah.
I wouldn't give up my D12 sailing. Who knows when I might fight on a ship?
yeah, exactly. Let's see. And I don't think there was anything I added to it last time. I think we were rolling observation too, but this is good. Let's do it. That is 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh,
5.
Yeah. You're good.
Safe.
Although
nice.
these are unknown waters to you and to your captain, between all of you observing and spending basically a day or so, going up and down the coast, you find you're able to both avoid enemy patrols, which there are some, mostly small boats, and find a sheltered cove, almost like a sea cave. I mean, it's not even a cliff. That you literally find a cave where you can just put the ship in. And has a little bit of a beach you can put supplies and shelter and all that.
Yeah, nice and cozy.
Very easy to see out, but people seeing in because of the shade will be difficult.
Mhm.
Unless you light fires or whatever. So there you are.
Right,
You
so
find
we're
yourself basically a sea cave. In fact, this one even has a little trickling of a not a river, but a stream from inland. So if you need fresh water, you have some fresh water.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I think for now we probably want to just establish a simple camp here. No fires, of course, as he said. And Duncan, you're my man for this job, of course. As last time, it's your job to go out and scout, get the disposition, and return to us so we can form a full plan. Or if you think you could take out the whole boat with exactly 2 grenades, then...
I'm not Superman.
but try to get us scouting and come back, and we'll form a full plan.
I will attempt to do so then. I will use my scouting abilities, which is really less scouting abilities, more I steal stuff abilities.
Mhm.
But nothing to steal right now. So I'm going to so I guess this would be speed involved, observation. I guess since I don't want to be seen as well, stealth on top.
Yes.
So, all right, those 3. Give me a second. I got to type it all in. I really got to learn how to make macros someday.
Me too.
Here we go. That's 2 successes.
Those are 2 successes. You don't get as close as you want to, because if you try to get that close, then you would. But you can see most of what's happening here because it's just the scale of it is pretty large. So I'm going to put everybody on the same page so everybody can see. But essentially, you're seeing through a Duncan's eyes. So we're in the same page. This is full of people. There are people coming back and forth and acting. This is a specific area where the ship is at. This is much larger. There's ships that are being repaired. There's ships, and for scale, you can see like a small rowboat here. Just as the ship. They're building the keel. and they haven't loaded the gun yet. So it's still very much a skeleton of the ship. This is just one area where there are most of, say, between 5 to 7 of these dry docks, and most of them are occupied. All the others are occupied with ships that are being repaired or maintained in some way. This is the one that you're looking for, the one that's on screen. So this is a much larger area, and there are people milling around. I just didn't want to put a bunch of tokens that would.
Yeah, they'd be really jumping the gun. If they put the cannons on now, look at it. It's not even finished. The the main hull isn't even done.
Yeah. So, but there you see cannons on the side, like in these areas. No, you don't see anything. You see people working. I wouldn't say that there's cannons. That'll be too much. One thing you do notice with those two successes is that they're near the port. There's a large conglomeration of people, of the common folk, who are mostly neither foxes, wolves, mostly a lot of wolves, some hounds, some dogs, and other types, different types of rodents, etc. The makeup of the people that are more of the common people in the islands, rather than the soldiery or the people who are in command, the nobility, which tend to be either lions or gray foxes. And you see members of the Church of Samare handing out food, bundles of food. You see about 4 or 5 of them. You can see them by the robes, and it's a very large crowd. You see several hundred of them. They're nearby, but not in the shipyards itself, in the port itself. You see some areas that actually have are made out of stone, and so you suspect that they're defenses of some sort, but you're not too close to if you had done better your rolls, you would have gotten closer and maybe got especially a detail of the defenses. What you do notice is, and there are hundreds of people coming in now, and they're clutching bags, something, probably food, and there's silos. You can see several silos at a distance nearby, mostly of grain, perhaps keeping other things like salted meats and the like.
Okay. So we got a look of where the food might be. We got a look of what the ship looks like. We got 7 dry docks, all of them occupied. 6 ships in repair, 1 ship being built, and the Church of Salmare is handing out food. I'm assuming they're handing out food near the silo.
Near, but not at. In fact, they've put some tents and some other sort of areas for them to hand out the food. In fact, people are coming in. Well, but the side of the crowd, you don't know exactly the mechanics of it, but you see people coming in and out with food, and so you would have to get closer in order to get a better view.
You're hungry and needy. Just get in line.
Sorry, is this only things that Duncan can see, or
basically, yeah, from where you are.
Duncan, do you see any central storehouse for powder or whatnot?
I would probably not know where that would be because I can't really get a good look of what's inside.
Well, I mean, if we're spotting cannon and such lined up along the shore, ready to be mounted, then that mean that they're prepping these ships for when they are done, which means that they have to have some sort of central store for powder and whatnot, some sort of armory.
They probably do. Which side of the line here would be where the cannons are? Just so I know.
Sorry, what I mean, what side of the line?
Like, is it on the starboard side or the port side where the cannons are in terms of the dock?
The ones protecting the ship, or the ones that will be on the ship?
The ones that would be mounted and put on the ship eventually.
Both sides. Remember, they would have two rows each of cannon.
Okay.
Right, I'm asking about the harbor though.
And in the harbor, there's only cannons that are protecting the ship. There's no cannons that are ready to go on the ship.
Well, okay, let me rephrase. You see areas that are could be defensive battlements, but at this distance, you don't see enough detail to see where they might be cannons or not. You probably know that for these areas, you would in fact have some kind of long range weapon, preferably cannon, but you don't see it from there.
Okay. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna do something probably unorthodox. First things first, I'm gonna make a bunch of notes. And write those down real quick. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do that. I don't want any marks on me that would give me away. I'm gonna try and skulk into the town a little bit. Not with the ability of skulking, but I will use my streetwise to see if I could I guess find an opening into this area. Maybe actually do what Griffin mentioned and get online for some food. See if I can gather some information.
Okay. You do have the benefit. I'm going to give you a D8 because of the large amount of people that are there, but you're also going to have to get at least 3 successes in order to get up close and personal.
Okay. What roles would this require then, besides the
It'll be
the streetwise?
streetwise, stealth,
Stealth. All right.
and observation with a mind.
With the mind. Alrighty.
Because you have to see where you're going, you have to figure out what you're doing, and you have to be able to get in there without anybody going like, "Hey, you!"
Yeah. Okay.
And you have a bonus D8 because of the amount of people that are there.
Bonus D8 plus a streetwise. You said 3 successes. Just making sure I got it all. That's 3 successes.
That's 3 successes. Okay, you're trying to get into town directly, or you're going to try to merge with the crowd that are asking for food?
I am merging with the crowd asking for food at the moment. I'm just keeping my ears and eyes open.
Okay.
See if I can get close to see what the the nature of these priests are. What they're obviously they're getting food from everybody. Giving food to everybody. So maybe try and get a sense from the crowd why they're giving out the food like this.
Okay. You see that what at first looks like a disorderly crowd actually, as you go deeper, actually breaks into very neat lines. In fact, you get into kind of the wrong lines, like somebody taps you, and it's a big, burly boar, and goes like, "Here, you go over there. Meat eaters go over there." And they are set up by carnivores, omnivores, right? Like they're set by different food types. And there's these tables covered in white cloth. And the priests are basically handing out people, and in doing so, they're giving blessings. So like, may the light shine upon you, and the blessings.
All right.
And people make signs, all these signs. They're pretty much everybody is queuing to get their food, more or less, without pushing anything like that. Anybody who does, the crowd itself sort of controls them, like they did with you, like they tap you on the shoulder, like you gotta go over there, right? People here are somewhat gruff, maybe agitated because they're waiting for food, but nobody seems to be too jumpy that they'll try to do something. You don't feel you feel a sense of some frustration in the air as opposed to say anger or maybe a little bit of anguish, but not necessarily anger or hatred or a situation that might explode into anything untoward. Yeah. At least here, people are more worried. They're getting their food. It's just like people waiting in line. It's like, I just want to get my stuff and go home, right? Literally. And you hear. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it possible to use gossip at all with a little bit here to see if I can gauge any more information about the mood of the people or what's going on?
Oh yeah, definitely. This would be the perfect place.
That's fantastic. I assume that will be mind and gossip for me at this point.
Yeah.
It's not exactly the best skills I have, but we will do it. Well, can I also... No, I'll do that later. Let's see what happens with the general public first. I don't know shit.
You basically you try to start talking to people, and people just sort of brush you off, right? They're too focused on this, and it's like they're not in the mood. Mostly, people are talking. They're talking in small family groups. They might be there, like a parent and a child, and the kids go like, "Mommy, I'm hungry." Like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. But I'm hungry, Mommy. That kind of thing, basically. Instead of people having conversations on the line, like, this is a bad day, or it's sunny, or what have you. But it's a lot of people, and a lot of food has been have been given out, and you think that this has been going on for hours, right? And you see boxes and other things behind the tables, a significant amount of them. So, and you see also the priests are marking out different things, like they're keeping copious notes about what's going on, right? So they have a well-oiled operation here. And you move up to the front. Eventually, you get there it takes about 10 minutes or so. Yes, carnivore. Yes, we have a package of salted meat here. May the blessings of the... And he just goes, basically, he just rattles off a very quick blessing to you, almost by route.
Yeah, I was going to ask, with my... because I've been traveling with Vesper for so long, is there... I guess, like, is he into, like, doing the blessing thing, or is he just, like, going by the motions?
He's going by the motions. But if he just sounds tired, like, man, the blessings, amen. And you see people going like, amen,
He's been doing this for a while then.
Yeah, it's like if you were watching a Monty Python skit and the priest just walks in, says, may that be blessed, amen, and just walks out. And it's like,
Maximus Omnibus, you missed the bus, I missed the bus. When's the next bus?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. One more thing I want to try. Let's see. We'll see if it's possible. I want to see if I can maybe connect with some of the more underworldy types around here, if there are any.
Yeah, and you have to do an observation and mind for that first and foremost.
Okay.
And you have,
may
and
I add my streetwise?
Yes.
Thank you. That's one success.
You kind of notice in the back as you were coming in, and now you're walking out with a packet of food that probably is going to last about a day if you stretch it. It's not a lot of food. Good solid meal otherwise. That there's a couple of fellows standing in the back that are looking a bit shifty. Maybe one of them or two maybe have some kind of weapon, maybe a club or a knife, but you're not really sure if they're just sailors that are just waiting for their own food or just taking extras. They're trying to rob people. They smell. They are off place, but you can't really put your finger on why exactly it is.
They're just hanging out. That's interesting. And they don't make any moves at all. They're just like they're almost like bodyguards there or something.
Kind of hanging out in the back of the line. In fact, they're almost when people are coming in and sort of ragged, they're some of the first people who go like, okay, stand here, do this, do that, But they're not wearing any robes and they're not wearing any tabards, so they don't seem to be either the local militia or the armed forces or the church.
Interesting. You said before. Well, I probably would know this. No, I wouldn't know this. Okay. I'm gonna go up to the guys that are doing that look like a little shifty, and I'm going to just say to them, "Thank you so much for the meal and your help here, gentlemen."
They kind of look at each other like, well, that'll be the church, so we're just waiting.
Well, understandable, but it seems like you're also like keeping order as well in a way that is always appreciative, and I give them a smile and a nod.
I suppose so. It wouldn't help to have everybody have a right. We're just, like I said, we're just waiting our turn. Isn't that right? Right.
Why, is like people like? Is there like an actual threat of a riot happening?
More people are hungry.
That's true.
Okay,
shortages all over the place, aren't there?
And one of them says that there ain't enough plenty to go around, if you know what I mean.
Can you repeat that, please? I'm sorry.
There ain't enough plenty to go around, if you know what I mean.
I think I do. Do you, by chance, do you know where we could be able, where I might be able to find more of this plenty you speak of?
Oh, there's always a tavern, I guess. Yeah, but I will warn you. While there might not be plenty of food, there seems to be an awful plenty of blades of late.
That's never a good sign either. Well,
Not
thank
that
you for
we-
your
not,
time.
not that we know anything in terms of the other phone.
Oh, of course, of course. Thank you for your time, by the way, and I give him like 2 dinar.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
You as well. Interesting. All right, something shady's going on here. All right, I'm gonna, I guess, sneak back out and go to the others.
Mhm.
Guess I gotta roll stealth and all that again.
No, once you know how to go in and out, I mean, unless you if you avoid like the ship the shipyards itself, you'll be fine. Like just wandering around the countryside, nobody's gonna stop you. Nobody's gonna bother with you.
Yeah, of course. Oh, okay.
What's this one bum gonna do? Ignore him.